and we're hot, so you guys know. All right, and 3, 2, 1. This next guy we have on here played college hockey at Notre Dame. Spent some time in the ECHL as well as the AHL. He was then in 2004 drafted by the Islanders. Played a little bit with the Avalanche. Let's give a big hat trick hockey welcome to Mr. Wes O'Neal. Wes, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, boys.
How's everything?
Very good. No complaints on my end. How about you?
We're hanging in there. So far, so good, I guess. So let's get right into it. Where did you play minor hockey at?
I started in Essex. Actually, I started in Windsor when I was young, and then my family moved to Essex. I was 8 years old, so I started playing novice major in Essex. And we had a heck of a travel team for a bunch of 8 and 9-year-olds. And then from there, I went to Sun County for a couple of years, and then went back to Essex from there, played 1 year with the 85s and 84s, and played high school hockey actually for Billy Blair. I'm sure you guys know Bill Blair and the boys, and that was a lot of fun. And then from there, I went to Chatham.
Oh, okay. So did you play like junior there for a little bit in Chatham?
Yeah, I played 2 years for the Maroons, and then my third year was my OHL draft year, and then I'm sure we'll get into that story, but after that draft, I ended up going to Green Bay and playing in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the Gamblers.
You had to get permission to go play there, didn't you? Because you were too young?
To play in Green Bay? No. I didn't have to have permission for that, no.
Okay.
Actually, since we're there with the OHL stuff, we might as well go at it. What I want to know is what made you go the college route over the OHL?
The big question, eh? Right off the hop, I like it.
I think we might as well. You already said we're already gonna
Straight to the
hop
brass
into it, so
tacks.
let's just get to
Let
it.
me have a drink for this one. No, no, it's not a big secret. I was a pretty highly touted kid coming out when I was young, and had a good junior career in Chatham under Dave Torrey, and was lucky enough to be drafted high. And when you're interviewing with all the teams, my folks' backstory is like we're not like a true hockey family. Like I didn't even know anything about the OHL really, and my parents' number one thing for me was they wanted me to get an education, either through Canadian university or American university, and they wanted me to be in a good situation for developing, not just as a player, but like as a person, and pay attention to school. That was like the number one thing my parents cared about. So for me that year, I think Mississauga was number one, and Don was kind of coaching, kind of not coaching. They didn't have a coach, and so that was kind of a cluster there. And then the next team was Kingston, who ended up taking me. But old Larry Maverty came to the house in Essex and did not put on a good performance for my mom. So she was not really impressed and didn't really want me going there. So we basically told those guys, if you pick me, we're not going to go. We'll end up going the U.S. college route. And the goal was to go to number 3 to play for Stan Butler. He was in Brampton at the time. And Kingston ended up picking me, and then I had to decide which college to go to. So that's basically how it went down. And, you look back on it, and do you say you regret it after all these years? Hockey-wise, probably wasn't the best thing for me. I think when I look back on my career, it might have blackballed me a little bit with World Juniors and Team Canada coming through that way. But at the same time, I have no regrets, and I had an amazing experience at Notre Dame. It's one heck of a place to play, and it's a really special place to go to school and get an education. And it's kind of set me up for life after hockey. And you always hope when you're young that you don't need it, and the idea is 18, turn pro and make millions, and that didn't work out for me. So having an education and a Notre Dame degree, getting into the business world actually helped me out a lot.
What did you want to ask them all over there?
Well, I just want to know what you actually majored in at Notre Dame.
I majored in psychology and I had a minor in politics.
You follow up with that, like when you went into retirement? Did you is that what you went through with like follow on with?
No, because you gotta either really like politics, which I can't stand it, or you gotta, with psychology, you gotta go on and get a PhD and all that. And by the time I finished hockey, I was 28 years old and I was not going back to school. So ended up getting into medical device sales here in the States. My wife, who's a doctor, got me introduced to the field. And believe it or not, you use a lot of psychology in selling and getting doctors to use your product. So I actually can say that I did use some shit I learned in college, which is nice. And, so politics side of it, absolutely not.
So you're kind of a nerd, right?
A little bit. Closet nerd.
Going to Notre Dame. Smart to go there.
Yeah, it was definitely an eye-opener for me because playing junior B when you're 13, 14 years old, you're 9th and 10th grade, you're not paying attention to school, really. You're on the road with the boys and playing with 20-year-olds. You're like, this is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
You play a game in London and then come home and take a math test, forget about it, right? Nobody's thinking about that.
Now, I remember having a couple of drinks with Tim and Sandy, your mom and pop. And
yeah.
I remember hearing stories about Bobby Orr coming to your house.
He did, yeah.
And he was coming after you as an agent.
Yeah, I was 13 years old. That was probably the most intimidated I've ever been and ever will be. Having Mr. Orr sit at my kitchen table. And, I remember all my buddies and some of the kids in the neighborhood were like coming up to the front of the house and peeking through the window to see if he was really there. And it was an amazing experience just to meet him. And, I got to go to dinner with Don Cherry that year as well. And in Chatham, he came to watch one of my games. So, that was a pretty incredible experience just to, they're hockey royalty. They're, the best of the best, right? So just to have one conversation, with them was amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you one more thing. Like last week, we had one of your friends at ours, Ryan Willie Wilson, with us. We were kind of going through his time with the Monsters and the Avalanche and stuff like that. And then, as we were going along, we kind of mentioned to him, who was your favorite, like, defensive partner? Because as, on defense, your partner is kind of, you really gel with that person. You know what I mean? So, of course, you know what I mean. But Ryan said you were one of his favorites. Yeah. He mentioned a few others, but your name was in there. So I was just wondering if we could ask the same question of you, and you might want to put Ryan in there.
Yeah, I got him in now. Damn it, no. No, Willie and I, we kind of hit it off right off the bat, and it just started off with holy shit, who's this guy from Windsor getting traded? I didn't know him before that, really, and he got traded to Colorado and ended up in Cleveland, and I just walked over to him like, hey, man, we're going to be buddies now. And we instantly hit it off, and, they paired us together, and we gelled, and, I wish we could have played more together. I think that year we were, we only played 6 or 7 games before he got called up, and but we played top D pair for the Monsters, and that was a lot of fun. Other guys I played with, Brett Lebda was my college defense partner, and then he went on to win a couple cups there. And that little guy, the odd couple, our coach called us. That was Davey Poulin was our coach there. He was a senior when I was a freshman, and he kind of took me under his wing in college and showed me the ropes, not just on the ice but off the ice as well.
Go ahead, Rob, if you got another one, man.
So what was it like knowing that you were going number 1 in the OHL?
Again, at the time, like, I didn't really know. Like, I thought I wanted to go to the MLB. I love baseball. Like, that was my thing. My dad, at a young age, I always played other sports. I didn't start playing full-time hockey until I was probably, 10, no, maybe 12. And so I just wanted to play baseball. I loved it. Played for the Windsor Expos. I'm sure any of you guys play baseball when you were younger?
Oh, yeah.
Guys like Ryan Huey, Sean O'Malley, Chris Cullen, like our team was all the 86s. We were a good ball club, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I started getting better at hockey, I guess, and started playing summer hockey instead of baseball, which I didn't really want. But my old man's like, reality check, kid. You're a big, tall kid from Canada. You're going to play hockey because you're never going to make it to the MLB. So that's what I did. But, that was a lot of fun. And as we kind of got closer to that level of the OHL, I was having so much fun in Chatham. I was on a couple amazing Chatham Maroons teams under Torrey and Stevie English there. And I didn't even really think about it until he started getting all those guys like Cherry and Orr coming around the house. So, even when I didn't go, I still didn't really realize the repercussions it was going to have. But, probably not till I was in my first NHL camp when I was like, yeah, I don't know if that was the best move, but it is what it is. And here we are today, right?
Did you say Chris Cullen for ball there?
Yeah.
Okay, I played with him when we played for Windsor, AAA.
Okay.
With Chris, he was an awesome pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. I just thought it was funny. I'm like, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, he ended up going to Michigan State, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yeah, he was good, man. That guy was good at the ball. Threw super hard. One of the things too is, where were you when you got your first call up for the NHL?
One thing I learned the hard way is when your coach comes to you and asks how you're feeling in the minors, the answer is 100%.
Yeah.
If it happened to me, and I don't know if this is, the whole story, but about 2 months before that, a coach came to me and asked how you're doing, and I didn't want to do morning skate the next day. So, coach, back's a little sore, banged up, but I'll be good for the game. And then lo and behold, another guy got called up, and I was like, oh, damn it. So I learned pretty quickly that, when they ask you how you're doing, you just say 100% coach. And we were on a road trip from Cleveland. We do the Canadian swing. So you go Hamilton, Toronto, and then you go out to Rochester and play them in Syracuse. And when you go to Canada, all you do is you bring your toiletry bag and a suit, and that's it. So I was actually in Toronto when I got the call. It was after a rookie party. Oh. Yeah. And all I had with me was a suit and a toiletry bag, and my suit was toast from the rookie party. And I'm expecting to go back to Cleveland the next day, and I get the call, and I have to meet the team in Vancouver. They were playing in Vancouver, then flying home to play Vancouver the next night in Denver. So when I got to Denver, I had just my hockey gear and a toiletry bag, and I had to go to the store and buy a bunch of clothes to wear. But yeah, that was it was a great story, and it was nice because there's a 2-day gap, so I could call my dad and mom and get my sister up to Denver for the game. So that was pretty special.
Nice. What was the rookie party like?
It was okay. Yeah. Toronto's not a fun.
Anything off the hook, or?
Let's just say
He's married. He's married. You can't talk about it.
It was a lot of fun.
We're just leaving it there. Right?
We're gonna just
Oh, that's funny. Anybody. So I got a hold of Dale Benetel.
Oh, Jesus.
And he told me to ask you about the first time you got drunk.
Oh, man.
Something about 13?
Well, you got to remember, I was a 13-year-old playing junior hockey, right? So I'm playing with a bunch of 20-year-olds. And this was long before Twitter and smartphones and technology. You could do fun things like that and not get in trouble, right? And if a young hockey prospect did that today, his career might be over before it started, because it'd be all over social media.
For sure.
So yeah, actually that might have been before junior. Now that I think about it, is that the time at Glennie Ivancic's house?
All Dale said was you were 13.
Yeah, it didn't end well. And that's the first time I ever thought my dad was really going to beat me. And you know, you guys know Tim and Sandy, and Timmer's a big boy, so I'm still scared of him to this day.
Don't blame me. He walks the dog by the house every day, almost every day. I see him all the time.
He always looks like he's going to hit you. No, I'm joking.
He's a great guy.
Well, if you got something else, go ahead, man. Good. Yeah, if you get a shooter, buddy.
Yeah, so I mean, your time when you got to Vancouver for the Avs and stuff like that, was it just a quick back-to-back game? Like, how many games did you end up getting in with the Avs?
So that was just, I flew to Vancouver, then flew back to Denver with the team. I don't know why I just didn't go to Denver, but and then I played the next night.
In Vancouver?
And, say that again?
You played the night in Vancouver when you got there? That night?
No. I met them. The game was already going on. I think Scott Hannon got hurt during that game. And then I flew with the team the next morning back to Denver. And then my first game was against Vancouver, but in Denver 2 days later.
Oh, I got it. Yep.
Yeah. So that was actually really special because Matt Sundin was on that team, and another Essex boy, Kyle Wellwood, was on that team. So it was a really cool experience. And I think, you know, my mom, being the hockey mom she is, after the game, she chased down Matt's and said, "Hey, can you sign this for me?" You know, while they're waiting for me to come out. So somewhere in my house now, I got the program from that game with my signature and Matt's signature. So that was pretty cool. You know, and then I think I played one more game and then got sent back. And then throughout the course of the year, I was up and down probably 8 different times, but I didn't play another game that year. So the boys called me Yo-Yo, which was not very fun because I was up and always down. And and that kind of, you know, was the most of my time with the Avs in the NHL. I was up, I might play, I might not. I think I played 5 games total. I was there for a better part of 2 years. It felt like just being that 7th defenseman, taking warm-ups and shooting pucks in the glass and hanging out with the kids on the bench. Like, it was the best life, but obviously you want to play, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What was it like walking in the room and just seeing like just guys that you have seen just growing up, like Adam Foote and like Hayduke and guys like that? So what was it like walking in and seeing them? Was it like the holy shit effect, or?
Yeah, I mean, I played with footy. You know, I did 3 training camps, so I got comfortable with those guys. But my first training camp, walking in and seeing Foote, all I remember is just him in the squat rack. Like, it's all he did was squats. Didn't do any other workouts, and he just had the biggest barrel chest on him I've ever seen. And then he turns around and he's got this, you know, the schnoz that's all crooked, and you know, he's like, "Hey kid, you want to squat?" And I was like, "You know, I'm good, Mr. Foote. Have a good day." You know, it's intimidating because right when you walk into the training facility too, there's a picture of Ray Bourque holding the cup. And, you know, I remember going over when he was on that run with the Avs with Cam and Cam Crowder and his dad when they played against the Wings there, and watching him. And it was just like, you know, shoot, I'm actually in the same rink as these guys. This is wild to me. You know, they're your heroes. And then, you know, seeing Joe Sakic, I remember, like, that was the year he stuck his hand in the snowblower, and he didn't play that year, but he was always around. And Forsberg was trying to come back from that foot injury, and I'll tell you, that guy, bar none, the most skilled I've ever seen on the ice. It was incredible.
Great up there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
What was it? So how did it go when you got asked to play for the World 18s, under 18s?
It was awesome. Yeah, playing for Team Canada is definitely one of my highlights. You know, putting that jersey on, putting the Canadian flag on your chest is pretty amazing. And you know, I played 17s and 18s, and then you know, didn't even get invited to World Juniors, which still stings a little bit. But that goes back to probably not going to the OHL. But going overseas and playing in those tournaments was amazing, and you know, it was a lot of fun. Got to play with some amazing players, and Crosby was on I think he was on our 18 team when he was 16, and like the best player in the tournament as a 16-year-old. So that was pretty awesome to watch. And yeah, it was just a truly rewarding experience to put that jersey on and then hear your national anthem when you're playing a game. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Are you going to ask him about Sid?
Yeah. Did you room with him, with Crosby?
Yeah, at training camp in Calgary. Yeah, I did, and it was his birthday, and we covered him head to toe in shaving cream. So the only cool story I got was that since then he's become a hell of a hockey player, right? So I like.
He's done some special things.
Yeah. No, but, that was really cool. I mean, even at that age, and I remember playing for Team Ontario the year before, and he was on Nova Scotia as a 14-year-old. And he had like security walking around with him at that time. That's how like famous he was, even as a young kid. And I remember beating them. We beat him, I think 6-4 or something crazy, and he had all 4 goals. and and the coach came over and goes, "Hey, good job. You shut him down the night." Right? So that's it. He was just a phenom, even at that age.
Wow, that's insane. Definitely. Go ahead, Rob. I see you're lining one up here.
Oh, you were the captain of Kalamazoo. What was that like?
Everything you read about minor league hockey. One of the fun parts of my journey was I got to play in some really fun, unique cities. Kalamazoo was definitely one of them. Johnstown. I was a Johnstown Chief for a handful of games one year. It's the exact same as you see in the movie. It hasn't changed.
Really?
And I played a lot of different places over the years, and Kalamazoo was a lot of fun. I played in Toledo my last year in the coast, and I had a blast. Toledo's a great sports town. Their fans are crazy, like absolutely crazy. Kalamazoo, we had some really good teams. I think I got called up a bunch when I was there, but we went to the finals and played in Alaska. I got to play there in college, but it was like quick in and out. But when we went there with the K-Wings, it was we were there for like 6 days, and it was wild because it's like June and the sun never sets. So you come out of the rink at night and it's like 11 o'clock at night and it's sunny. Some of the boys went fishing while we were up there. It was just a really cool experience.
I heard you like fishing.
I do like fishing.
Big bass fisherman.
Well, I try to be. At least I pretend to be. If you talk to Dale Beneteau, I'm definitely better than him.
What was your most memorable boat? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say Dale's the worst because he'll be the guy on the boat that falls asleep. And then he'll be, "Oh, geez, got one." And it'll be the biggest bass of the whole damn day.
What was your most memorable when you were like memorable moment playing in with the Chiefs?
Playing with the Chiefs?
Yeah.
I got to be honest, man. I hated it there. I was so bummed that I was in the coast at that time in my career that I just like despised even going to the rink. So that was a dark time for me. But one night we did go to Aces, the bar from the movie.
Okay.
And it's full of all their memorabilia. And I had played with Christian Hansen, who's Dave Hansen's son. I played with him at Notre Dame. So it was kind of cool to have that connection. And I remember calling him and being like, "Is this real? Like, this isn't a movie set. This is a real town here." And he was like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "It hasn't changed since the 50s. It's pretty wild."
Was he as his dad?
What's that?
He as tough as his dad?
Hanner was more of a skilled guy. I think he fought a little bit when he got into pro, but in college, he's just a big, he was in amazing shape and he was just fast and he crushed guys. But you don't fight in college hockey, right? So didn't get to see much of that out of him.
Did you play in any of the Frozen Four when you played for Notre Dame?
Nope. My senior year was the first year that we were a really good hockey program. I think that year we only lost 3 games. We were ranked number 1 in the country the whole year. But we lost to Michigan State in the game before the Frozen Four. So whatever, the Elite Eight, whatever you want to call it. But that's the year they ended up winning it all. That was the closest I got. And then the next couple of years is when they went to the Frozen Four.
Nice.
Did you ever get a shot to go play overseas?
I got a couple offers, and it was kind of winding down towards the end of my career. I thought about it, but I had some ongoing back issues, and it's ultimately kind of what ended my playing days. When I was in Kalamazoo, I had back surgery. So I had L4, L5, a microlaminectomy. They'd basically go in and scrape out the disc because it's protruding and it was pinching all my nerves. So after that, I contemplated shutting it down. But going into the summer, like, I just felt awesome. Like, my body felt awesome. I finally felt like I could get down into my skating stride again. So I'm like, I'm just going to train with the boys and see where the summer goes. And, I decided to play one more year, and that's when I went to Toledo and played my last year there and had an absolute riot. And, took a couple call-ups, didn't really stick up there. At that point, after back surgery, you go from prospect to reject pretty quickly, so I was just like, yeah, they're like, do you want to sign another PTO? I'm like, no, I'm good, man. I just want to go back and have fun. So at that point, I just enjoyed hanging out in Toledo and playing with the boys.
Where are you living right now?
I'm in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, just across the pond from you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
You still playing hockey at all? Any kind?
No.
All done.
I don't even own equipment.
Really?
No, I still skate. I will coach. I do enjoy teaching young kids. Actually, one of the guys that I work with, I trained his daughter for a few years, and then she ended up getting a scholarship to Cornell. So that was pretty cool.
Fantastic.
I think once my kids get older and I have a little more time, I'll get into coaching. I really enjoy that part of it. I just have no desire to play.
Yeah.
Wow. What about, so if you don't want to be on the ice, what about, and are you playing any ball, anything at all? Well, obviously no one is right now, but I mean, were you
I played slow pitch over here. I mean, slow pitch in Windsor is a whole different game, right? Everybody's a good player, and it's really competitive. And then you come over here to the States, and they have the insane level where they're using juiced bats and everybody's on steroids, and then they have beer league ball. There's no in between. So I kind of got bored of it. And then, once you have kids and with work, it just kind of shut down for me. So really, I play golf and I do a lot of fishing. It's kind of about it for sports for me right now.
Golf a lot?
Yeah, I used to play a lot, and now we just got back from a golf trip actually last weekend with a bunch of the boys, and we went up to Arcadia Bluffs and played that, and a couple other Traverse City courses, which are really nice. And
beautiful area up there.
It was beautiful and got a little chilly though. It's fall's here, but it was a lot of fun.
How you guys got?
What was it like getting drafted? Did you go to the draft when you got drafted into the NHL?
Yeah, the draft was actually a terrible experience for me. Thanks for bringing that up.
Rob's full of them.
No, I mean, it's part of the story. So, you get mad and then you get over it. But, I went to the draft. I was supposed to be a late first round draft pick. So you go and you get your nice suit and feeling good about yourself. And they give you your seat with your name tag so the camera can find you. And then I didn't get drafted on the first day. So I ended up getting drafted in the 4th round to the Islanders. And that's when the second day they didn't have any TV or you didn't go get a jersey or anything. So basically found out in the hotel room with my folks. And yeah, that wasn't very much fun, but it was par for the course and, with hockey for me. So you get mad about it, but then you get over it and you just kind of move on. And I think it helped me, put a little chip on my shoulder when I ended up signing in Denver, to kind of prove something. So I think it definitely helped, my last couple of years at Notre Dame and then my first year of pro.
Who was on that team when you did you go to the Islanders camp?
Yeah, I did. I went to the Islanders camp and I honestly couldn't tell you who was on the team.
Would have been close.
He would have remembered if Tavares was on the team.
No, it was 2004, right? Yeah, I was a freshman, so yeah, 2004.
Wow.
I'm not a big fan of the Islanders anyways.
No, and it's funny because I ended up, when I was in Kalamazoo, I ended up getting called up to Bridgeport, which is the Islanders farm system. And I was playing with Josh Bailey. He was there, and him and I clicked right away. I scored more goals there than I did in Kalamazoo that year, and was playing first power play unit with Mark Caddick and Bales there, and I was on fire. And then they called up everybody else on the blue line except for me that year, and I was just like, okay, I'm good. I'm going back to KSU and enjoy the playoff run with the boys. So, it is what it is. I can laugh about it now. At the time, I was bitter Betty, but you get over it and you move on, right?
Yeah. What's one of the funniest things that you've seen, like, off the ice, like messing around with the guys, whatever? What's one of the funniest things?
Oh, Jesus.
I hate to just throw you on the spot, but
I mean, there's so many. I mean, the fun part about the minors is you play with so many different characters, right? And I'm sure you guys have heard the stories of, that was my favorite part actually of Johnstown. Going back to that question, was I played with Mike Scroy, the real deal. You guys got to know him, right?
I've heard the name.
Oh my God, look him up. He is an absolute legend of minor league sports. I think just getting the experience of walking into the locker room and he'd be shadow boxing, right? That's how he warmed up for games. And I come in, this guy's all jacked. I'm like my height, but just shredded. And I'm like, hey man, how you doing? He goes, looks at me, he's like, I'm working out. Oh, okay. Talk to you later. So we go out there and the game started and he comes up to me and he goes, hey man, all you got to know is just give me the puck. I'll make you look good. I'm like, what? This guy goes out there. The first game he had a hat trick in 3 fights as well. I was like, where am I? This is the Chainsaw League. Get me out of here. So yeah, it was fun. It was a good experience. And I went to a training camp with Trevor Gillies and Joel Reckledge, two of the toughest meat wagons I ever met in my life. And these guys off the ice, we were in a small town just outside of, Christ, where is it now? Somewhere in North Dakota. It was summer hockey school. And these guys would go to the Indian casino every night. And then I'm a young kid. I just went home. I'm exhausted from workouts. And they'd come in 4 or 5 in the morning fighting each other because one guy lost money or this guy lost money. So, those were some pretty cool experiences.
Sounds like a blast.
What was it like playing with Wellwood?
I never played with them. I only played against them. I can tell you just from even skating like all summer, right? All the Windsor pros skate together all summer, and of all the great hockey players we played with, Otter and Gleason and those guys, like Welly had by far the best mitts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That kid could stick handle in a phone booth. It was unbelievable how skilled he was.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's awesome. We gotta get him on here.
Yeah, he'd be a great show. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm good.
All
right, everybody's all tapped out.
Yeah.
All right, Wes, but we honestly, man, thank you for just coming on, shooting the shit with us, telling us your whole hockey experience, shall we say. We want to say thanks, man, for
thanks a lot, Wes.
No, thanks for having me, boys.
You could have threw somebody under the bus, Wes. Like
we were kind of hoping.
Made it exciting, and like just wheel somebody.
You got one more shot. You wanna?
No.
No. I don't want my dad to be mad at me.
PC.
All right, Wes. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot, Wes.
All right, sounds good.